Welcome to Tales of Auntie Ray. Hey y'all, it's your girl Auntie Ray coming at you with another true life, jaw-dropping, feel it in your chest redemption story straight out of these Miami streets. Grab your sweet tea, pull up a chair, and get ready. Cause tonight we're talking about two little boys nobody believed in and how they came back 5 years later in 3 Bugattis to make a grown man forget how to breathe. If you love karma served ice cold with a side of grace, you already know you're home. Hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and let's get into it. The summer of 2020 in Miami smelled like hot asphalt, cafecito, and broken dreams. Jake Ramirez was 22, shoulders already rounded from carrying too much too soon, and his little brother Tommy was 18, all elbows and hope and laptop glow. Their father had died 7 years earlier, heart giving out in the middle of a carburetor rebuild. And ever since then their mother Maria had worked doubles at La Carreta on Calle Ocho, coming home with swollen feet and tips that barely covered rent on the 2-bedroom apartment in Little Havana, where the walls sweated and the AC coughed like an old smoker. They had $500 between them that July, every cent scraped from birthday envelopes, pizza delivery tips, and Tommy fixing neighbors' viruses for $20 a pop. Tommy had been whispering about cryptocurrency for months, eyes shining behind his cracked phone screen. One good trade, Jake. One. And we're out. Jake didn't understand half the words his brother used, blockchain, DeFi, HODL, but he understood hunger, and the look on Tommy's face was pure hunger. So on a Saturday when the heat index hit 110, they showered, put on the cleanest t-shirts they owned, and drove their mother's rattling 98 Honda Civic to South Beach. They parked 3 blocks away because the rust spots embarrassed them. Elite Motors rose in front of them like a cathedral of money, floor-to-ceiling glass, Italian marble, supercars under spotlights that cost more than most people made in a decade. The air inside was refrigerated perfume and new leather. They drifted toward a lime green Lamborghini Huracan, the kind of car that looked fast even standing still. Jake ran a careful finger along the fender, afraid to leave a print. That was when Victor Slade appeared. Victor was 44, tall, gym-built, hair slicked back with product that cost more per ounce than Cuban coffee. His navy suit probably had its own mortgage. He took one look at their faded jeans and scuffed sneakers and smiled the way a cat smiles at a bird with a broken wing. "Gentlemen," he drawled, the word dripping sarcasm, "the museum's down the street." Jake straightened. "We're just looking at the Huracan." Victor's laugh echoed off the marble. "Looking. Right. This one sticker's at $260 before taxes. You boys got that in your college fund." He glanced at their clothes again, then at the security camera overhead. "Tell you what, there's a used Toyota lot on Biscayne. More your speed." He lifted his phone, snapped a quick photo of them standing awkwardly beside the Lumbo, and walked away still chuckling. "Window shoppers," he called over his shoulder, loud enough for the other salesman to hear. The laughter followed them all the way to the door. Jake felt it in his teeth, in his gut, in the scar on his knuckle from when he was 12, and tried to help his dad fix a transmission and got his hand caught. Tommy's face had gone red, then white, then hard. They didn't speak until they were back in the Civic, windows down because the AC had died last month. "One day," Tommy said, voice shaking, "we're coming back here, and that guy's gonna choke on his own tie." Jake gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles went pale. "One day," he agreed. That night they sat on the sagging couch in the apartment, Maria already asleep in the back room, exhausted from the dinner rush. Tommy opened his laptop. The screen painted blue light across his determined face. "Bitcoin's 32,000 right now," he whispered. "Ethereum's 1,300. We put everything in. We learn. We build something no one can laugh at." Jake looked at the 5 crisp $100 bills on the coffee table. Their entire future. "Do it," he said. They sent the money to Coinbase at 2:17 a.m. Then they didn't sleep. The next 4.5 years were blood, caffeine, and stubborn hope. 2020 blurred into 2021. Jake delivered for Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub, anything that paid. He rode a scooter through Miami storms, rain plastering his shirt to his skin, saving every tip in a jar labeled Empire. Tommy coded day and night, teaching himself Solidity, React, whatever the Reddit thread said was next. He launched a tiny price alert app called CoinPing that actually made a few $100s a month in ads. It wasn't much, but it was proof. May 2021, Ethereum hit 4,000. Their $1,000 investment turned into 12. They screamed in the apartment at 3 in the morning, jumping on the couch like little kids. Maria woke up terrified, thought someone had died, then cried when they showed her the screen. Then came the crash. June 2022. Everything fell apart. Their portfolio shrank by 70% in 6 weeks. Tommy stopped sleeping. Jake picked up extra construction shifts, coming home with cement dust in his hair and despair in his eyes. They ate rice and beans for a month straight. One night Tommy sat on the kitchen floor crying, laptop battery dead, charts red. We're idiots. We're never getting out. Jake crouched beside him. We already got further than anyone thought we would. We don't stop. They held. They studied harder. Tommy and his online friend Alex built CryptoForge, a clean, secure marketplace for NFTs when every other platform was getting hacked. They launched it in September 2022 with $50 in Google ads and prayers. Users trickled in, then flowed, then flooded. By spring 2023, they had real revenue, real employees, a tiny office in Wynwood with exposed brick, and a coffee machine that didn't sound like it was dying. Venture capitalists started calling. Jake, who had never owned a suit, learned to shake hands and talk cap tables. They raised $5 million in seed money at a $30 million valuation. Maria quit waitressing the day the wire hit. She cried in the middle of the diner, apron still on, when Jake showed her the bank balance. 2024 brought the real money. CryptoForge added staking, yield farming, institutional tools. They hired 30 more people. The SPAC merger in November valued the company at $500 million. Jake and Tommy woke up paper billionaires between them, though most of it was locked up for years. They bought Maria a 3-bedroom condo in Coral Gables with mango trees in the yard. They bought themselves townhouses they barely lived in because they still worked 18-hour days. They stayed quiet. No flashy Instagram, no bottle service. Just work and planning. Because they never forgot Victor Slade. They found him easily. Same dealership. Same smug grin on Instagram. Same watch. His posts were a museum of flexing, standing beside Rolls Royces, sipping champagne on yachts, captioning everything #blessed #hustle. One throwback post from 2020 showed the exact photo he'd taken of them beside the green Huracan. Caption: when window shoppers think they belong, faced with tears of joy, know your place. Jake stared at that post for a long time. Then he called the lawyers. Elite Motors was for sale. The owner, Harold Hargrove, 82 years old and tired of South Florida traffic, wanted out. The brothers formed a Delaware LLC called Sunset Acquisitions. They bid $20 million cash, all anonymous. Hargrove accepted in February 2025. Closing was March 14th. The staff, including Victor, were told only that new ownership was a private investment group excited about growth. The brothers spent the next 2 weeks preparing like it was Christmas, and Judgment Day rolled into one. They bought 3 Bugatti Chirons from a dealership in Palm Beach. Matte black, murdered out windows, custom plates. Window 1, shopper 2, PAYBK 3. They practiced driving them on a private airstrip outside Homestead, the 1,500 horsepower engines shaking their bones. They rehearsed lines in the mirror until they didn't sound rehearsed anymore. On March 15th, they woke before dawn. Jake wore a simple black polo with the Elite Motors logo embroidered small. Tommy wore the same. They looked like new salesmen. They parked the Bugattis in the front row at 9 a.m., lined up like Black Panthers. The valet stared. Customers took photos. Victor arrived at 10:05, navy suit pressed, hair perfect, AirPods in, sipping a $9 cold brew. He strutted past the Bugattis without a second glance, probably assumed some rapper was test driving. Inside, the showroom gleamed. The other salesman greeted him with the usual ass-kissing. A memo had gone out the day before. Big clients coming in. Dress sharp, be ready to close. Victor spent 20 minutes bragging about the 7-figure commission he was about to earn. At 10:30, the brothers walked out of the manager's office carrying folders and key fobs. The room went quiet the way it does when electricity changes. Victor turned, smile already forming, then froze. The smile died halfway. His cold brew slipped in his hand. Jake spoke first, voice calm, almost gentle. Morning, Victor. Tommy stepped beside him. Recognize us? Victor's mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. No sound came out. Jake gestured toward the lime green Huracan in the corner, the exact same VIN from 5 years ago. Still a beautiful car. Victor's eyes darted from the brothers to the Bugattis, visible through the glass, to the staff who were now openly staring. His face cycled through emotions like a slot machine. Confusion, recognition, dread, panic. You're the kids from 2020. Tommy finished. Yeah, window shoppers. Remember. Victor took one step back, bumped into a white Ferrari 488, and nearly fell. His cold brew finally gave up and splattered across Italian leather shoes. Jake continued, conversational. See, after you so kindly suggested we learn our place, we went home and started a company, Crypto Forge. Maybe you've heard of it. $500 million valuation last year. He paused, let it sink in. Then we bought this place. 20 million cash. Closed yesterday. Victor's knees actually buckled a little. He grabbed the Ferrari's side mirror to stay upright. His mouth hung open, so wide you could see the gold crown on his molar. Tommy pulled an envelope from the folder. We're not firing you, Victor. That would be too easy. You're staying. New title, Director of Customer Empathy. You're going to train every salesman here on what not to do. And if you do a good job, there's a bonus big enough to fix whatever's left of your soul. The showroom was dead silent except for someone's phone camera recording. Victor's eyes filled actual tears. His chest hitched like he couldn't decide whether to laugh, cry, or throw up. I'm so sorry, he whispered, voice cracking. I was an asshole. I was awful. Jake felt something loosen in his chest, a knot he'd carried for 5 years. He stepped forward and, to everyone's shock, hugged the man. Victor hugged back like a drowning man grabbing a rope, shoulders shaking. When they pulled apart, Victor wiped his face with the sleeve of his $5,000 suit. I'll do the training. I'll do whatever you want. Just thank you for not destroying me. Tommy laughed, a wet sound. We almost did, but our mom raised us better. The staff erupted into applause. Someone popped champagne they weren't supposed to have. Phones came out. The video went viral before lunch. Crypto millionaires buy dealership and confront salesmen who laughed at them 5 years ago. 50 million views in a week. Victor kept his job. 6 months later, he was the most requested trainer in Florida luxury sales, teaching packed rooms about ego, empathy, and second chances. He never wore a navy suit again. Jake married Elena under the mango trees at Maria's house. Tommy became the cool uncle who taught his nieces and nephews to code before they could spell. Crypto Forge went public for real. Ticker symbol Forge, opening bell on NASDAQ. Maria rang it, tears streaming, wearing the same smile she'd worn the day her boys were born. And sometimes on Sunday mornings, Jake and Tommy would take the Bugattis out, top off, windows down, and drive Ocean Drive just to feel the salt wind and remember the 2 kids in a rattling Civic who refused to stay small. Because in America, sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. Sometimes it's becoming everything they said you'd never be, then offering them a hand up when they finally see you clearly. And that, they decided, was the sweetest sound of all. And that, babies, is how you turn a know your place into a welcome to my empire. Jake and Tommy didn't just win. They healed, they grew, and they even pulled that salesman up with them. That's the kind of comeback I live for. If this story lit a fire under you the way it did me, drop a ray, I felt that. In the comments, share it with somebody who needs to hear it today. And I'll see y'all right back here next week with another tale that'll have you shouting at your screen. This is Auntie Ray, reminding you, never let nobody tell you where your story ends. Love y'all big, now go be legendary. Peace. Victory and medium dark skin tone red heart.